Welcome to Shonia Studio. In this playlist you can watch crime stories from all over the world, where apart from gaining knowledge about crime stories in other parts of the world, it can also provide knowledge about, for example, the culture and habits of the people in that country. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to this channel if you like our video. Thank you. Let's get to know a woman who used to work as a song guide at a karaoke in the city of Hanoi. Her name is Chum Thoung, who was born in 1974 and then moved to the city of Da Nang, Vietnam, because she married, but her husband died in an accident in 2018. In the end, this woman opened her own salon business and had quite a lot of acquaintances with officials and people from the party, friends who met her here and there, until she started to get close to gentlemen who in fact just wanted to hold her here and there. Chum is not that cheap. Even though many of her friends just want to be temporary gratifiers for officials. It seemed like she would be happier if she could have a serious man who would marry her and make her his legal wife. In February 2019 it turned out that Chum became acquainted with a 68-year-old man, named Chum Thoung, who was a party cadre. This man was also a land businessman in the Tin Giang area, and there was a political event at that time in the city of Da Nang. She was introduced to him by her friend, and every time he went there, Trump would stay at Chum's house. Because they were really good friends with each other, this made the man not stingy in giving his money to Chum and started to want to have a serious relationship. In fact, at that time Mr. Trump admitted that he already had a wife and children in the city of Tangoyen. However, the relationship with his wife is no longer harmonious and there is no warmth, because the wife is busy looking after her grandchildren rather than her husband's. That's why all of this man's complaints were accommodated well by him, and he intended to marry Chum. But because in the party no cadres were allowed to get divorced, then he just wanted to invite the woman to have an unregistered marriage first. Basically all her needs would be met. After thinking for months, the woman finally agreed to accept Mr. Trump's proposal. They married in July 2019, and Trump's younger brother, Thoung Hoa, later appeared as a witness on behalf of the family. Of course, no one knows the old man's wife and children. After that, Chum's simple house was renovated to be bigger, and it was true that he was very diligent in transferring money every month. Mr. Trump also returns to his young wife's arms 3 to 5 times a month, just to ask for his desires to be fulfilled. Meanwhile, Chum, even with lots of sneers here and there, is increasingly indifferent to her neighbors. The important thing is that he has a lot of money and his salon business runs smoothly. Because he was rarely in the city of Da Nang, Mr. Trump finally told his younger brother Thoung Hoa to stay in that city, to look after his young wife, so that she wouldn't cheat on him with other people, and to be safer from boys who tried to get close to her. Because Chum's beauty is like an angel, that's why Thoung Hoa was told to rent a house in Da Nang, and his brother also paid him monthly salary. Actually, it's a bit uncomfortable for Kai Chum to be watched like that, because she feels very loyal and can't do anything wrong, as long as her monthly money goes smoothly. But yes, if she really have to have a god, that's no problem, and she doesn't have a relationship with another man. Initially, Dong Hoa asked his brother to buy a motorbike, but Mr. Trump instead told him to just use a car because there were several cars in his house that were not used, and his younger brother was told to pick one up from Thanh Nguyen. This vehicle is ultimately used to go everywhere in the city of Da Nang, including keeping an eye on his brother's wife. Over time, it seems Dong Hoa likes hanging out at his sister-in-law's salon. Besides being able to get free food, it's also cool there, and the girls who gather there, they are pretty. Even until midnight before returning to his rented house. This is what makes the man even more in love with Kai Chum, because he is very gentle, very fragrant, and her lips are also red. In the end, he likes to be taken around by car to the market, to the mall, or to a cafe to hang out. Until November 2019, by forcing Dong Hoa to want to be served by his sister-in-law in a passionate manner, but was refused. I didn't give up. I was invited to go for a walk until I was drunk, then she was invited to do that, but I was rejected again. Until an argument broke out when they were going home in the car, which resulted in the two of them hitting each other. Dong Hoa didn't accept the rejection until both of them had an accident and were treated at the Da Nang City Public Hospital. Within a month, Dong Hoa recovered quickly and was immediately sent home by his brother to the city of Taif Nguyen. While Kai Chum was the most severe, causing one of her left legs to be paralyzed. The condition of one disabled leg doesn't make Kai Chu give up. She continues to serve several customers at the beauty salon, along with an employee. At first she was still using a cane, but then she felt stiff and asked her husband to buy a wheelchair. Mr. Trump still comes to meet his wife, and the monthly money is smooth because Kai Chum can still see all his desires and wishes, even though it's not as wild as before. But everything changed a little when entered May 2020, when the pandemic came. It turned out that Kai Chum's leg felt worse, and even the other side was worse. And in fact the other one on the right was also difficult to move and was given outpatient treatment and therapy, but stopped because this woman was afraid of going to the hospital. She didn't want to be infected by other pandemic patients and chose to stop her physiotherapy for a while. Only at the beginning of January 2021, when her condition recovered, did this woman go to the hospital again to undergo a leg program because it was starting to become difficult for her to go anywhere. Finally, the husband sent a driver with his car to the city of Da Nang to accompany Kai Chum to complete various matters. Also provide information that Mr. Trump did not know beforehand the cause of his young wife's accident. They did not admit to the background of the accident. That's why starting March 2021, finally a 37-year-old man named Chris Hiu appeared, to become Kai Chum's personal driver and rent a house not far from the women's beauty salon. A little story about Chris, who is married and has a 4-year-old child. When he was young he worked as a flight attendant. Then after getting married he became a technician, but was laid off by the pandemic, and continued to be unemployed even though things had recovered, so he accepted being a private driver on Mr. Trump's orders, and was only allowed to go home twice a month to visit his wife's children in Nha Trang City. This man is then tasked with delivering Kai Chum therapy, shopping, social gatherings and other activities. However, it seems that the woman's condition has not shown any significant changes. This affected his performance on the bed, because over time Mr. Trump started to complain, because the Kai Chum bed game was no longer as great as it used to be. For some reason this started to make this man rarely come, before 4 times a month, now once a month. Even the shopping allowance has also been reduced, only Chris's salary is still in accordance with the agreement. There was even a threat from Trump to his wife that he look for another woman if the situation continues like that. Entering July 2021, it turned out that Mr. Trump didn't show up either. Chum started to confide in her personal driver about this situation. Horrified that one day she would be left behind, Chris could only calm her down and say that hopefully the physiotherapy she was carrying out would show results, so that she can return to her original condition, healthy and fit. The man's voice and advice are very pleasing to Chum's ears. She slowly starts to like Chris. The man never complains, always thinks positively and gives encouragement. His body is also strong because she works out diligently, which is very different from her husband who only wins money. Mr. Trump's face was also very dull, but the woman didn't dare to mess with Chris. She was reluctant to respect each other even though she liked to secretly look at the driver's face and wanted to kiss him on the lips. Until one night at the beginning of August 2021, when she came home from physiotherapy and carried Chum to her room, this woman hugged Chris tightly while crying, complaining that it was so difficult for her leg to heal. At that time, the house was quiet because the beauty salon employees didn't live there, so the man could only give her more motivation, not to give up. Because her mind was itchy and she was really lusting after seeing Christ, the idea came into Chum's head to invite her driver to commit a disgraceful act. The reason was to prove whether it was true that in this paralyzed condition, her bed games were no longer great. Why did her husband complain? So, with some force, he pulled Chris' body onto the bed and took off the man's clothes, while whispering, "Help me test, is it really not exciting anymore?" And it turns out the driver wanted to. In fact, they did it 3 times in the following days under duress. From Friday the 13th of August, 2021 it turned out that Chris had disappeared somewhere. He didn't pick up on the phone and even then he came to the rental house and he wasn't there. The car couldn't be seen. Chum immediately called her husband to ask about this. This is where Mr. Trump went on a rampage by saying Chris was resigning. Because of his wife's actions, he told her everything that Chum had done, which he was forced to do. Even then the husband said he would divorce her immediately. It's already sick. It's not as satisfying as before, it's also frustrating. But the woman was screaming and denying all the accusations. He said it was Chris who teased him first. So the next day, Saturday the 14th of August, 2021, Mr. Trump immediately went to his wife, while wanting to talk about their separation. It seems like he still believes what Chris says. After all, he's been wanting a divorce for a long time, because Chum is no longer considered good. But then the woman got angry. She could separate as long as she still gave me monthly money. Because that's what he wanted. Mr. Trump was willing, but it seems there was another commotion, because the amount requested was not approved, it was too large. Until then Q took a knife from the kitchen and attacked her husband from behind while the man was urinating repeatedly until the beauty salon employee appeared to help. Luckily Mr. Trump's life was saved even though he was in critical condition in hospital while Chum was detained by the police for the attack. Of course, This incident shocked Mr. Trump's first wife, B. Bao Hoa, who came to Da Nang and just found out about the whereabouts of her husband's young wife. There was a commotion between her and Kai Chum. She even got angry at Mr. Trump but was calmed down by the police. The man apologized and was in the process of parting. From here, Mr. Trump finally found out that the cause of his young wife's accident was because his younger brother wanted to do something wrong with her. However, Kai Chum could not make any demands because there was no evidence. Keo Tai's lawyer stated that her client, Kai Chum, at that time was indeed carried away by emotions. Because her husband was demanding a divorce, she was paralyzed, and her monthly money was also very small, which could not cover all the medical treatment and her life. Because after all, everyone wants to help prove whether being paralyzed can still be exciting, but what she did was because of Trump's younger brother, Hoa. If the man had never been sent there to be a spy, this accident would never have happened. At the trial, finally Chris also appeared and cornered the woman, who had forced her into perhaps a disgraceful act. The first time he complied out of pity, the second and third disgraceful threats because, Kai Chum said, if you don't want to be satisfied, I will tell Trump to fire him. That's why Chris was forced to obey. However, when he was asked again the fourth time, he chose to run away to his family and tell everything to the boss. Let's be honest, even though he denied everything, it turned out that Chris had a recording of Kai Chum's voice when she asked him to go to bed, recorded using his cell phone. This is what pushed the woman into a corner and added to the list of demands. Until Tuesday the 15th of March, 2022, finally the judge at the Da Nang Regional High Court declared that Kai Chum was guilty of assault and forcing a disgraceful act. The 48-year-old woman was sentenced to 12 years in prison and was allowed to undergo physiotherapy while in prison. She then legally divorced from Mr. Trump in May 2022. Meanwhile, her husband and his brother, Hoa, were free from any charges. What do you think? Should Mr. Trump and Hoa be punished too? Comment below. If you like this video, don't forget to click the like and share buttons. For those who are stopping by for the first time or have stopped by often but haven't subscribed, don't forget to click the subscribe button first, and also turn on the notification so that next time, for example, I upload a new video, you will be the first person to know how to follow. Thank you and goodbye.